feel-good breakfast show.
Good morning, South Africa, and welcome to the Culinary Hotline Bling! The team are very excited because they know they're getting bread today. They're getting bread, Tagara.
Yes.
So welcome to the show. This week is a very important, very special theme. We're talking about baking, yes, but also we've brought someone very special to the kitchen, Tagara Mabarani, who works at I Love Coffee, the first cafe in the country run by hearing-impaired bakers, baristas, the team that make everything happen there. It is such a beautiful, beautiful place. You know what the problem is? I live 5 minutes away from it. And they've become my go-to. Oh my goodness, your okra buns this season were delicious. Tagara, what you do with that team is absolutely phenomenal. Can we please just give Tagara a big welcome? Amongst everything that you do, can I just say, put it out there, Tagara is one of the very few people in South Africa that have the title of Master Baker. Wow. The entourage had rolled in this morning. Security, red carpet. Tagara, welcome to the kitchen. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you, viewers, for having me as well.
I'm very excited to have you. I've been waiting for a very long time for you to come into the show to teach South Africa and myself how to make these amazing pastries and breads that I'm so obsessed with. But also there's a bigger story about what you do, but we're going to get into that. Let's first talk about what you're going to be making today.
Okay. Today we're going to be making seeded bread. Some call it like Cape seeded bread as well, with varieties of names given to it. It's soft, chewy bread inside, crunchy, can accept everything, can go with stew, can go with poached eggs, everything. You can take anything. Spread as well.
And it's that beautiful loaf over there.
Yes, it's one of these breads, yeah.
That looks absolutely amazing. And you spoke about the chewy inside, the crispy outside. For me, this bread is all about the texture. A lot of times people just get it hard and chewy. What you do is absolute magic. So let's get started. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to hand over to you, okay. And we're gonna talk as we work. You cool with that, right?
Yeah, great. Thanks.
So you're a mentor to the young bakers that are at that bakery. And it's amazing when you step into that space, you can see the commitment and the drive that they have.
Yes.
What inspires you to inspire them every day?
Baking is an art. Influenced most by people say I've been influenced by my mother, my grandfather, my grandmother. But for me, it was from my father's side. So it is an art I chose. I really wanted to be an artisan as well.
Okay.
So I chose it as an art. And when it comes to passing on what I've learned throughout the years, I love it so much, passing on to the next generation. That's what inspires me as well. And getting to see other bakers growing up, especially the young ones, especially with disability, it's a great thing to me as well.
And you yourself, you're learning sign language. How's the interaction been like working with the team that's hearing impaired and then teaching them all these skills? I want to also say something that's quite amazing. I feel like when it comes to cooking, you learn so much from visually taking in and learning from like, what the person's doing with their hands. Has that been a benefit?
Yes, especially when it comes to dealing with people with disability. It's quite important to deal with especially sign language, what they're doing, actually what physically, look into them physically, what they're doing. That's one part of why we communicate with them. That's how I communicate with them. And coming into sign language was a difficult thing. 2 years ago, I never thought I would be into a place where I would be learning sign language. I didn't see it at all, but I mean, it's a fun thing. It's an
empowering thing as well for you as well.
Exactly.
I love it. Before you add that, let's talk about what we got into the bowl. So we've got our flour in the bowl, and then we've added a whole lot of seeds. What are some of the seeds that we added?
We've added all our pumpkin seeds, our sunflower seeds, our poppy seeds, and sesame seeds, and 2 types of flours, which was my white bread flour and wholemeal. Or if you don't have wholemeal, you can use fine brown as well. It's fine. And then my water with a little bit of honey. Put in my yeast into it just for 5 minutes, just to dissolve it. Then my oil comes in. Lastly, so the most important thing is not to mix your salt with your water directly, with your yeast directly, as it damages it it gives a negative impact to your yeast as well. So that's the most important thing is I have done here.
So that's why the yeast got the honey, right? Because they feed off that honey.
Yes.
That's why it's bloomed so beautifully.
Great.
So there's two things. It's going to help our yeast bloom, and it's going to give a slight sweetness to our bread.
To our bread, exactly.
Amazing.
Yes. That yeast feeds on sugar, which is part of it from the honey as well, which acts as that. So that's the whole reason of blooming diesel.
Perfect.
Yes,
Let's get into it. So I also want to chat to you about the fact that baking, it's not something you can just rock up on the morning and be like, today, I want to put this bread on the menu. There's a lot that goes into it, and sometimes it's days prior to that you actually have to start working. Is that one of the challenges I find? Maybe it's one of the reasons I never went into baking, because I know that you got to be up so early. Oh, we do anyway. But it's so much of a process that actually starts days before you actually see the final product on the shelf. Is that like a discipline you've taught yourself just to be patient, to work with it? Because you have to be a very faithful man. You have to believe what you're making now is going to be amazing in 2 days' time.
Yes, I agree with you. Baking is a lengthy process. Sometimes making some of these breads takes 2 to 3 days of preparation. And as far as like the sourdough bread, it takes, if eating a sourdough, I'll look at eating something which is 10 years ago, 10 years ago, made 10 years ago, because I'm putting a mother which is 10 years old.
10 years old?
10 years old. So you look at that as like a period of 10 years. So it's quite a lengthy process, and waking up of early in the morning and working throughout the night shift, it's a commitment.
We've got some people that work on our team, and 10 years ago, they were in primary school. I'm not going to start calling out any names right now. But, I mean, that's pretty amazing. And it's alive, and you have to keep it alive and feed it, and that's what I find so amazing. Baking is not just a science. It's you're creating a form of, like, life every time, or extending that lifespan every time you create a new loaf or you put something new magical together. And, I mean, I honestly understand why a good quality sourdough, a good quality bread costs a little more than what you would pay for when you buy it in the store. So absolutely love what you do. Tagara, this hasn't even been baked, and it's smelling amazing. It's smelling so, so, so good. Now comes the kneading, right?
Yes.
So you prefer kneading in the bowl, on the surface?
I prefer kneading in the bowl, especially for some types of bread. But for sourdoughs, it's very good to knead it on the counter. But for a bread like this, it'll be good in a bowl, and through kneading it directly with your hands, to get the feel of bread, to make a relationship with the bread, it's very important as well. So get the whole relationship with it. That's very important.
The whole feeling of it. So, South Africa, you don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to slice open that beautiful seeded bread. And then, Tagara, what are we making in the next part?
In the next part, we're going to be rolling croissants.
Croissants? Yes. Amazing. So don't go anywhere in South Africa. And also, when you send us any votes, if you have any questions for myself or Tagara, that number is 062-408-8863. Send us your voice notes. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with part 2.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Ting, ting, ting! Ting, we're back. How amazing was that first segment where we saw this beautiful seed loaf being made? We're going to taste it in a second. Tagara, you're back. And this time we're making croissant.
Croissant.
Croissant. Croissant. Whether you call it croissant or croissant, it's delicious. It's amazing. And it's a breakfast staple. You have to have it. And if you haven't had it from I Love Coffee yet, you're missing out. You're missing out. But Tagara is going to teach us how to make it. Also, if you have any questions for us this morning, anything baking related, send us your voice notes to 063-408-8863. Tagara, I'm going to ask you to get started on our croissant, and in the meantime, I'm going to slice into that seed loaf. Right? Is that a good idea?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Cool.
Let's
Perfect.
go with that.
So croissants, first of all. We spoke about it earlier, baking takes some time. Croissants, one of those recipes. Takes a little bit of time, but the results are phenomenal. Where do we begin?
The first thing is to mix your dough. That is 8 hours before you even start rolling, which is...
8 hours before you even start rolling?
Yes.
Yes, it's a labor of love. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to put my maracas away.
The main ingredient is mainly the flour. You got your water, your milk, your yeast. Definitely you need your yeast. It's basically mixing everything together into a dough. Then let it overnight into a fridge, proof slowly. Then the following thing is to laminate it, put in the butter in between.
So laminating is quite a technical term, but basically, like you said, it's when you take that sheet of butter and you fold it with this dough that you've made. So kind of creating all those beautiful layers?
Yes.
Perfect. So, another thing I wanted to talk to you, while you can get started, I'll just talk to you while you're busy.
Okay.
We've always been taught to prove our dough at room temperature or in a warm space. But when it comes to doughs like this that you're making, you said prove it in a fridge. What are the benefits of proving dough in a fridge versus proving it at room temperature?
The benefiting, that is called a retarding method. The main aim of a baker is to bring out a flavor from the dust from the flour. Just imagine a flour by hydrating it, water, and because flour has been dry for a while, making it moist, hydrating it, and getting all the nutrients out of the flour takes a bit of some time. So by retarding it, putting it in the fridge, we get the time to actually pull out all the nutrients from the flour.
Amazing. So it's about the hydration. Through the hydration, we get extra flavor, right?
Yes.
Love it. Okay, so this beautiful seed loaf, and can I say, it is still warm, which is absolutely amazing. We're going to slice through it. I mean, look at the inside of that. You can see how the seeds and the nuts have been dispersed in there. That's what you want, even distribution of the seeds and nuts. And there's like a nice bit of density to the bread, and it smells so magical. So you can't slice this like thin. Number one, it's going to break, and number two, you're going to miss out on the flavor. So a nice thick slice, and butter, of course. I mean, the bread's amazing on its own. And I'm the type of person, like, where I put butter, I don't have to spread it. I like doing like little pieces of butter, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I like having some bread with my butter. That's a good amount. Do you ever get, I mean, it's a serious question, do you ever get tired of baking?
No. Not at all. It's a thing, if you love baking, you won't get, just like showing up on TV, I'm sure I can see the way you present it, you love what you're doing. So same as baking. I won't get tired of baking.
I love it. That bread, first of all, slight sweetness from that honey.
Yes.
So beautiful, and it comes through. I mean, this is salted butter, and that slight saltiness of the butter with the bread.
Yes.
Absolutely delicious. Still warm, I think it's amazing. But I can imagine this once it's not warm or the day after, even if you toast it, you'll toast those seeds, get more flavor out of it.
That's actually good, yeah. Especially after a few days, like even toasting the seeds before you even bake it. Then mixing
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's get more flavor from the seeds as well.
I got you. So, Tagara, can we fast forward? So,
yes.
We got the dough. We're going to knead it out. What have we got here? Is this the final product, or is
this is a laminated dough?
So the batter has been spread out and then folded through the dough.
Yes.
Can you show us very quickly that technique of getting that shape that we first need to cut before we roll our croissant? Can you show us that?
Oh, right.
Because that is something I find a lot of people kind of get it wrong with the initial shape.
You have to get a rectangle shape, then divide it into 2 equal pieces, just as I do here. Equal measurements. If it's 5 centimeters.
I do, like I said, equal, and you do like little measurements with your fingers and your hands.
Yes, exactly.
But you're a master baker. You know the dimensions already. At home, use a ruler. Right. If you want to get them like 100% perfect, use a ruler at home.
Then connect the angles.
Oh, you freehanding it. You got the roller, but you're just freehanding it.
Yeah.
This technique.
There we go.
Also helps that we're slicing on Caesar stone, because you can. Oh, Tagara, my goodness. You see me, I would have been here with this. I would have been... Have you ever noticed Graham, when Graham's thinking hard, his tongue comes out. So I'm going to pull a Graham. He does that. No, Tagara, that was amazing.
That's how we come to the shaping. Then...
Stop. Wait. Can I do one? Can I do one? Okay, so... Give it a little stretch. I saw that.
Slightly pull it.
Okay. There we go.
The other side.
A little more on the side.
Yes. Flip it on the counter.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Create a little bit of a lip.
Lip, yeah. There we go.
What is that? And then do you do the crescent shape, or do you bake them just like that?
Just like that. You can either do a crescent shape. That's fine.
And then it bakes.
Then it bakes.
200, right? What temperature do you go for puff pastry once you've created this temperature? 200, because you want a bit of that steam.
Yes, exactly. 180 to 200 is a good temperature because temperature helps to proof as well. Because when it goes in the oven, it's 80% proofed. Then the 20% comes from the oven as it goes in. So it's very important.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So in the last few seconds, all I'm gonna do is, would you like a piece?
It's all yours.
Oh, it's for me. It's all for me. It's for me. Okay. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? It's amazing. Okay. The butter. It's so rich. It's so amazing. It's so delicious. Tagara, I feel like I'm never going to buy croissants ever again. No, it's joking. I'll be coming to I Love Coffee. These are so good. South Africa, if you want to make your own croissants, make sure you get the recipe at expressoshow.com. Tagara, you're not going anywhere. We've got one more recipe. South Africa, stay tuned.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to another installment of the Culinary Hotline Bling Ting Ting Ting. It's been an amazing morning. It's been an amazing morning, but we've decided to end off on a high. In the kitchen with me, we have Sipindle Mvazo. And she's one of Tagara, you should be very proud right now. It's one of Tagara's little young trainees, and she's totally taken the stage. When I walk into the cafe, I get the biggest smile, the biggest wave, and she knows exactly what I want. She's like, Pana Chakala, yes, that's you. I know you want the quiche, yes, that's you. And the chicken mayo, yes. And today we brought her in, she's make some delicious gluten-free peanut butter cookies. Yeah?
Yes.
Super delicious, super easy to make, and so satisfying, right?
Yes, amazing and delicious, yes.
So, Sipindle, I'm going to hand over to you because you know this recipe off by heart already, right? So, first things first, where do we begin?
So, firstly, we are going to break the eggs, which we've done already. And we have our sugar ready, and we mix the eggs in the sugar.
Right, so we can get started straight away. Tagara, how proud are you that you're seeing your apprentices just like take center stage and produce such amazing baked goods?
Yeah, it's such an amazing thing. Looking at where she started from scratch, she didn't have any idea of what's happening, what's this, how to weigh, and I'm very proud of her.
Today she's just doing the things. Amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so Sipindle, let's start. So we got our eggs cracked already. Can I beat the eggs for you? Okay, cool. I'll do that. Very simple, because I'm seeing the peanut butter, the sugar, the eggs. Very simple ingredients. And then I'm seeing the actual peanuts itself. That's quite nice, because that adds texture.
Also nuts, if you'd like.
Yeah, nuts as well. Perfect. So do I add the eggs into the peanut butter?
The peanut butter.
Perfect. 3 ingredients.
Yeah, just 3 ingredients. It's gluten-free. That's caters for all.
Perfect. Sugar. And then my question, white sugar for this recipe versus using brown sugar, is the white sugar important?
There is a difference. It caramelizes quickly, the brown sugar, and getting a nice golden dark color. But any sugar will just work out on this recipe.
Any sugar, perfect.
Any sugar, yes.
So Sipindle is going to get that a mix for us. So the 3 ingredients. So is it kind of the peanut butter that helps set?
The peanut butter, also including the sugar, helps it to bind, yes.
And then the eggs also, just a bit of binding?
Yes, exactly. Then give it a nice gooey and moist after bake, yes.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to give that a good mix. In the meantime, Beryl, you're a big fan. You said you're very happy to be in the kitchen with us this morning. We should make this a regular thing, don't you think? Also, it'll be difficult for you because I go off script all the time. Would it be a problem? No? Nah, this is fine. Should we get Beryl in the kitchen for more of our cooking segments? I think so. The team at the back are saying yes. And Beryl's giving me a yes. Beryl, is it a yes? She's not sure. Beryl, we're gonna have a meeting when the cameras go off. We're gonna have a meeting. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna give that a mix. Very simple. Once it comes together as a dough, and it will come together as a beautiful dough. Yes. And again, no flour, South Africa. That's amazing. Shape it little balls, pop it down, and bake it.
The best way is to, when you freeze them...
Freeze it first?
Roll them, yes, freeze them first, then sprinkle some nuts on top, bake it 180 for 10 minutes, until the bottom is golden brown.
Awesome. I also like the fact that you said we can freeze it, which means we can prep this way ahead of time.
Exactly.
And just have a fresh batch of biscuits always ready to go.
Always ready to go, yes.
I love it. Tagara, thank you so much for being here today. So inspirational. Again, South Africa, we've got a master baker in the kitchen. Sapinde, thank you so much for making time, for coming through this morning. I'll be seeing you later for my regular order. And Beryl, thank you so much. Our meeting later. South Africa, we're going to get Beryl back into the kitchen. It's absolutely amazing. And I was also taught something. I was taught this. And what does this mean?
Means I love you.
It means I love you. You know what? They love us so much, they actually gave us more time. They gave us more time! Yes, okay. So, I'm gonna actually bring this dough together. Can I take over? Okay, so we're gonna mix it all together. And then it comes into a dough. Where's some of the breads? Okay, let's talk about some of the breads. Beryl, okay, I've got you here. Let's talk breads. You love pastries? Not so much. Beryl, this is TV. If you don't agree, you must just lie. You must lie, Beryl. You must be like, I love pastries. They're my favorite. Okay, so let's talk about some of the goods. If you're going to walk into I Love Coffee this morning and you see the selection, what are you going to go for? Are you going to be going for the savories or are you going to go for the sweet pastries?
Sweet.
Sweet pastries, so the pain au chocolat? Pain au chocolat, absolutely my favorite as well, with one of the artisanal roasted coffees. It is so delicious. Tagara, what's one of your favorite things to bake at I Love Coffee?
I like everything.
Everything?
Yes, everything with flour is just interesting and amazing to me.
What would you say is the more complicated one that really deserves a lot more of your attention and focus?
Definitely our sourdough takes a while. It's quite a technique involved in it and a lengthy process. And yeah, you remember we're dealing with a bacteria, which is a living organism,
right,
which you need to look at it time and again, just like a pet. So that's
very technical, very technical. Yes. Absolutely, I love it. And then another thing I want to touch on is you're also busy mentoring not only the team at I Love Coffee, but you're working with the fresh group of students that have just entered the hospitality industry. That's very inspiring. Do you have any words of wisdom or guidance for people out there that want to become bakers? They've never baked before, but they've got a passion for it. What advice would you give them?
The baking is a passion, and you have to take it serious, just like any other arts. Study, read more, and yeah, that's all.
Read.
Yeah, read, study, and keep on researching.
And then part of the research includes eating, right?
Yeah.
It does, it does. Okay, let's go back to this. So once we got this mixture, do you want to shape it for us onto the tray? You can use the spoons and tell us what size we're looking for when we actually shape them. You can go ahead. It's all you, all you.
It can be big, small, it doesn't matter. It's your preference.
I like actually looks at the garlic, just make sure, like,
yeah, that's like it.
Am I doing the right thing? Perfect. I'm so fascinated with the fact that it still looks like peanut butter, but it bakes into a beautiful, beautiful biscuit. It looks absolutely amazing. And then the nuts, you just sprinkle over the top, like you said, to add a bit of crunch.
Yes, exactly.
I love it.
Dip a spoon into water, then make it up. Just give it a small design, then sprinkle your nuts on top, freeze it for a while, just for 5-10 minutes, then you can bake it. You keep it for longer in the freezer as well, and whenever you need them, pull them out into the oven straight.
So I've got a question then for Sapindle. You're working with a master baker. Where do you see yourself in 5 years with your new learned skills of baking? Where's Sapindle going to be in 5 years on the world stage? What plans do you have?
I love making seed loaves. So that's my favorite thing. So my aim is to get better in that also, in the baking. And with him giving me more experience as well. And then in leading also, I need to improve in that. So I'm hoping that he improves me in that as well.
Lovely. South Africa, it's been an absolutely amazing morning. Thank you, Tagara. Thank you, Sapindle. Thank you, Beryl. All these pastries we're going to be taking home. Not Beryl, because Beryl says he doesn't like pastries. Thank you so much, South Africa. It's been an amazing Culinary Hotline Bling. Next week's going to be even more exciting. So don't forget to tune in Wednesday from 6 to 9 for the Culinary Hotline Bling. Can we do a very loud ting, 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 right? Everyone ready? The Culinary Hotline Bling! Ting, ting, ting!